these are some amazing words by the Turkish Interior Minister, Süleyman Soylu, who out with a new statement in a television interview. And this is sending shockwaves right now through the international diplomatic circles and how to handle this right now. The Turkish minister Süleyman claims the whole world, not just the world, the whole world hates America, he says in this interview. So I'm going to go through this BNN interview from the BNN network. It's a pretty bold statement. He's not pulling back at all. The whole world hates the United States. A lot of people are like, thank you for saying the obvious. Thank you for saying the truth, the thing that most people realize and won't say out loud. Others are saying, how dare you? How dare you? So Turkish Interior Minister has claimed the whole world hates America and suggests that Europe is merely a pawn of the United States. Okay. So let's get a little deeper. He downplayed Europe's significance, saying that the trend is in America's favor. So the idea that America wants Europe to be in decline is totally in America, that America wants Europe to be in decline is totally in America's favor, like the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline. A lot of people in the chat saying, yep, but he's right. It's true. Absolutely. He's right. He's 100% correct. Yes. And you have to wonder, like when we were just in the Middle East, like people were very, very kind to us, but they became incredibly, I cannot tell you the change in their facial expression when they found out, oh, we're American. Like, oh, American. Okay. And we would say, but we live in, we now live in Portugal. Oh, Portugal. Like, we love like it was unbelievable. Like the transition from like there's an awareness that, oh, but you got out of America. Like you left because you know it's corrupt and criminal and you left and you made a decision to whatever. Like there's like this shift in that. And that's not why we decided. We just wanted a better life for our children. And we just, I'd lived there most of my life and enough was enough. And I don't have a 9-to-5 job anymore. And I wanted to see the world. So it wasn't like that. And most of the, governments around the world have a problem, right? It's not like there's like a rose bush over here and all these other ones are cactus, So they all have issues, right? Let's be honest. But it's amazing to see this sort of like, they're absolutely aware of, and they're sort of playing to our, oh, we're just going to be nice. It's the Americans. They want to come here and see these things. That's nice. But then when they realize we're journalists, they would look back and like, oh, so you might understand then what we're going through. And when we ask them, hey, were you here in the square, in the Tahrir Square right over here for the Arab Spring? And they said, no. And when we would say to them, oh, because you realize it's a Western-backed coup attempt, right? It's a Western. Yes, exactly. No, we don't want U.S. in meddling in what we do and how we live our lives. That's exactly why we weren't here in Tahrir Square, like supporting the Arab Spring and doing. So you realize like the American meddling is far and wide. There's a deep awareness about the hatred of America around the world. Sure, they love American culture and they love Hollywood and love those sorts of things, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about American imperialism and American government and American military. That's what he's talking about here. He says, United States is losing its credibility on the global stage. Is that the case? What do you guys think? Is America losing its credibility on the world stage? This is what the Turkish Interior Minister says. And he says it's attributed to various factors, such as foreign policy decisions, economic policies, and perceived cultural dominance. Perceived cultural dominance. This is also interesting, right? America has this perception that it is culturally dominant, that like what America produces in terms of music and entertainment, etc., is culturally dominant. Would you guys say that that's the perception? Do you guys think that's the case, that America perceives its exports of this stuff as the best of the best?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if there's no such, he says there's no such thing as Europe. There is America. Europe is a trend in the Americas column. Ouch.
I mean, think about our biggest export, democracy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we love, yeah.
And think about how we ship it.
We box it up in some missiles. Yeah. Box it up in some missiles, and we'll ship it right into your residential zones.
Yep. Sorry, no return to sender, or that's even worse.
Just see how we spread democracy across Ukraine, right? Go ahead, Phil.
As he points out, it's like you were asking, like, has America lost its credibility? I mean, the credibility that they're really referring to is our directly post World War II credibility. Like post World War II, we had it going on, like throughout World War II, and then immediately after that, the Cold War begins, and that's when we just completely undermined our any credibility we had, in my opinion. If you look at like everything we did, like getting into Vietnam, all of the things we did after that, and it's just like, I think that's where our credibility really started to fall, was like in the 50s. So it's like, how long can we still ride that wave of World War II America? Right.
We needed to create an enemy. So we set about an opportunity to crush Europe. Britain is no longer a world superpower as a result. We are now the ones calling the shots. We are going to make the most money. We've
built 900 bases around the world.
Right.
So we are occupying.
Yeah, we're going to satiate the military-industrial complex, right? And we're going to do this by spreading democracy around the world. We cannot possibly partner up and team up with the Soviet Union, which lost, 23 million people or 30 million people fighting in World War II in order to beat the Nazis. We can't partner up with them and figure out a way to work collectively. No, they have to be the enemy. They cannot join NATO. They cannot join our power alliance, even though they literally helped destroy the Nazis. We can't have them. So then we have this hegemony for 60, 70 years, and now it's in decline. And it will peter out. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take probably a couple decades or whatever for it to totally peter out. But you're seeing the global power shift happening now. Turkish Interior Minister's comments may have far-reaching implications, BNN says, for international relations, particularly among Turkey and the United States and Europe. Such strong anti-American rhetoric could contribute to increased tensions between the countries and may negatively impact diplomatic relations. Furthermore, dismissal of Europe's significance could strain Turkey's relationships with European nations, potentially affecting trade and cooperation in various areas. So there's already, of course, massive strain in that regard. But what's amazing is that Emmanuel Macron is basically saying the same thing, but just in a little bit more diplomatic language. Emmanuel Macron goes to China and admits that the United States has been basically pushing Europe into a hole. And we can't allow the United States to lead us in Europe anymore. We can't be involved in these skirmishes that the United States wants us involved in. It's leading to European collapse. He's telling the truth. If a bit too late, wouldn't it have been nice a while ago for you to have been that outspoken about this? Instead, now waiting to this point to make these comments. So does the Turkish Interior Minister have a point? The whole world hates America. Let us know your thoughts on this in the comment below. And I would love to hear from our friends from Turkey on this story. What do you think about these comments from your Interior Minister about the United States? Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.